I'm a journalist with Euractiv here in Brussels, but I have another hat. I am the publisher of Euractiv Bulgaria. 3 years and a half ago I started this project. So I know a little bit of both professions, the journalistic and the publisher's profession, and don't ask me which one is more difficult.
The freedom and resources to do journalistic investigation in the public interest, of course. And dear Commissioner Jourova, a little more than 3 years ago, for the first time, we talked about the need to look for mechanisms to protect not just the journalists, but also the journalists. And I want to congratulate you, to thank you for taking on this very huge challenge.
The Media Freedom Act, well, not so much discussion because I have to escape, and I'm so sorry about that. I will do it in a Chinese way, just to tell you what I want to say and leave. But maybe till 3:30 there will be some time. Yes, it will be the history to assess whether we did the right thing with this law, and I said many times that my ambition is that one day the journalists will not go to spit on my grave, yeah, because we will see the effect of this law soon, but of course the longer time will pass, the more the real effect of the law will be set.
And I would like to give the floor to the audience to ask questions to the Vice President. You can ask your questions in English or Bulgarian, as you like.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to put the question. My question is, as a person from Eastern Europe, at the Balkan area, where the media environment is pretty much eroded, how can you ensure that the media freedom law won't be distorted by the local governments in their favor?
So who will define what is Russian propaganda? Who will be the person who will do it? Sometimes I see you sound like a Russian propaganda.
I do.
Sometimes. I said sometimes. Yes. Anna Karenina and brothers Karamazov are Russian propaganda or no? And what is the space of the definition of Russian propaganda? Thank you.
Legally speaking, states, like I will give you an example of Czech reality. Yeah? I know very well the Czech criminal law. And there is the prohibition of promoting the aggression or aggressive war, something like that. So in our member states, we see more or less a legal response on such appearance of such kind of propaganda. And nobody defines clearly on European level what is the word propaganda, but what we see, what's appearing in the, especially in online sphere, is an avalanche of manifestly clear, verifiable lies. One of them is that the aggressor is Ukraine and the victim is Russia. Sorry, but this is for me a clear-cut case. This is not true, and this is obviously the celebratory or excusing declaration which should purify the aggression of Russia. And these kind of things appear in a massive amounts in our, especially digital world. Who will define it? It's not defined at the EU level, but again, we are equipped in the national legislation to address these kind of information, which has the potential to do harm to the society.
Was commenting that there is no definition of pornography, but he said, nevertheless, when I see it, I know it is pornography. So I think with Russian propaganda it's very much the same. When I see it as a journalist, I know it's Russian propaganda, and I see it every day, and more, and unfortunately I see it very much in the Bulgarian media. For various reasons, Bulgaria is much more vulnerable to Russian propaganda compared to the other country I know best, and that is Belgium. In Belgium, it's much more difficult for Russian propaganda to get across. In Bulgaria, Russian propaganda appears even on mainstream media. One mainstream television has broadcast, for example, a Russian narrative according to which the truck that blew the Kerch Bridge was loaded in Bulgaria. And that's a mainstream television, can you imagine?
Presidency, and we are hoping to, still under the Swedish presidency, to have a general approach in the Council in advance of these trilogues with the European Parliament.
And that my country has put in place in order to fix the problems identified in the rule of law reports. So this is why we see this whole European initiative as something very positive.
Can I just
Yes.
interrupt you with this very basic question? Bulgaria doesn't rank well in the World Freedom Index. Is there a strong ambition at the government level to radically change this situation?
Issues to be resolved, but the broad direction that the Commissioner set out is something that I would welcome, and it's that standard setting which I think the BBC has in the past and I hope still continues to do. I should also say that I'm a member of Ofcom, the UK media regulator, of its content board, although not speaking on its behalf today. I would say that for me, in terms of enforcing those standards, that ensuring that the intentions that the Commissioner has expressed and making sure that this has got teeth, that is going to be the key thing for those countries in Eastern Europe and the Balkans where there are issues of poor media standards, and of course for the accession countries where in some ways it's even more important to make sure that those standards are in place before they join.
The way published and launched its latest report here in this very room on 7th of March, showing really the drastic decline in media freedom. All that helped realize, specifically Commissioner Jourova, it's time to act. We have to do something. Because what is a matter of fact is all the very good Council of Europe, international standards, all the case law, which all member states of the EU have signed, is not being implemented. We know there is so much lip servicing by member states, but when it comes to the needs we all expressed earlier, we need more action.
За електронни медии е в непрестанен, смея да кажа, диалог с групата на европейските регулатори, с които обсъждаме всички текстове от акта за свобода на медиите. Имаме общо становище, което сме изразили и което българската страна в по-голямата му част подкрепя. Ролята на регулатора е изключително различна предвид очакванията, които са заложени в този акт. В този смисъл аз ще оставя частта за влиянието и ролята на българската журналистика върху този закон, да го нарека, на колегата Бакалов.
Значи аз не представлявам никаква синдикална, професионална или политическа организация. Деца казва съвсем свободен журналист. Не съм и бюрократ от някакъв регулаторен орган. В България положението, сигурно хората ще им е приятно да слушат оплаквания, какво с медиите в България. Но с две думи, за да изчерпя този въпрос, в България медиите са овладени, така да се каже, и служат на политически и икономически субекти. И какви са причините? Сега,
тя държавата овладява.
Така, лично да кажа две думи за себе си, че близо 40 години съм журналист. Хората ми се смеят, защо още са в тази професия. Това е важно. Много хора бяха в тази професия и намаляват професионалните журналисти. Сега ще спра този въпрос.
Най-ефективният начин да се борим от всяка фалшива новина и пропаганда е с силата на проверената информация, с силата на самата, на истинската журналистика, на тази журналистика, която проверява фактите, която има репортери, които покриват цялата география на един конфликт, цялата география на една война. Когато журналистите представят, освен фактите, наподнасят и контекста, в който тези факти са се случили, дават исторически, ако искате, контекст, дават хронологията. Смятам, че това е най-силният начин да се борим с фалшивите новини и пропагандата, защото ако започнем да забраняваме, това означава това означава, че ние подценяваме интелигентността на нашите зрители, на нашите читатели. И второ, това означава, че ние подтикваме същите тези зрители, читатели, слушатели, подтикваме ги да търсят свои източници информация, която може да ги подведе. И затова вярвам, че това, проблема, който повдигна Иван Бакалов, че медиите вече загиват, че журналистиката загива, това е така. Но може би ако в бъдеще успеем ясно да изградим кои са медии, а кои всъщност не са медия, може би гражданска силна позиция, каквато има в социалните медии, тогава може би ще насочим зрителите именно към да се доверят на медията, която отговаря на конкретни журналистически стандарти за проверка на фактите.
И общо взето с известен оптимизъм да се борим за един закон, който действително да бъде от полза за журналистическата професия,